Outdoor sirens are supposed to warn Texans about tornadoes and floods, but the CBS News Texas I-Team discovered that large parts of the state don't actually have sirens at all. And that patchwork of protection became painfully clear during this summer's deadly flooding in central Texas, where at least 135 people were killed. Investigative reporter Brian New starts in Kerr County with a new law meant to fix the problem and why some say it's not enough.
Good morning. I want to thank everyone for being here.
Can you talk to us about what kind of warning system might have been in place last night?
We do not
Y'all did a good job.
have a warning system.
Those words echoed down the Guadalupe River, across Texas, and into the halls of the state capitol.
Clearly, the devastation in Kerr County and throughout central Texas highlighted the need to have such a system.
Few bills ever get near unanimous support, but Senate Bill 3 did. It set aside $50 million for the Texas Water Development Board to help flood-prone areas install outdoor warning sirens.
It seemed to be a pretty obvious solution to problem, which is you've got to get people out of the way of a flash flood. There's no sheltering in place on a flash flood. You have to move them to higher ground.
Over there is where the Cow Creek Bridge wiped out.
Shane Salm is a councilman in Lago Vista, a small city on the north shore of Lake Travis. In July, floodwaters wiped out the Cow Creek Bridge that connected Lago Vista to Marble Falls. Just moments after it collapsed, 17-year-old Malaya Hammond drowned after her family's minivan was swept into the creek.
My hope is that we implement this program, we get more warning signs out there for folks.
Salm testified in support of Senate Bill 3. Like many communities, Lago Vista doesn't have a single outdoor warning siren.
At communities like ours, without your help, we're probably not going to be able to do this. And if an event like this happened again, it'd be terrible to look back and say, why didn't we do something?
Under the new law, the 30 flood-hit counties from July are eligible for siren grants. But Texas has 254 counties, and many of them are also struggling to afford emergency sirens.
We probably have just less than a dozen.
In Fannin County, just northeast of Dallas, flash floods are rare, but tornadoes are not. Yet in this fast-growing county, most of the area is not covered by a siren.
Does the county need more sirens?
I believe they do, yes.
How many more?
That's a good question. There's probably a good half a dozen areas.
So what's preventing the county from putting up a dozen more?
Budgetary restrictions, budgetary constraints.
Emergency Manager Troy Hudson says he would jump at state funding for sirens. But under Senate Bill 3, his county doesn't qualify.
There are many communities in Texas that don't have warning sirens. What about them?
Well, you have to start somewhere. We're going to start where we know we got a problem, which is Flash Flood Alley. But once the technology becomes available, I can see that we'll expand it to other parts of the state.
Is it realistic for the state to fund outdoor sirens in every place in the state that needs them?
Probably not, because you've got to look at source and use of funds. We'll listen and listen to them.
We need them because...
In his 5 years on the job, Hudson has activated sirens at least 6 times. And nearly every time, he says, there were places that needed a warning, but couldn't hear one.
If I can save one life, it's worth it, no matter how much it costs.
So investigative reporter Brian New joins us this morning to continue this conversation. And it really seems like a lot of this comes down to money. So let's start there. How much does a siren cost?
Yeah, Madison, we found that a siren can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 a piece, depending on size, feature, the cost of installation. And that doesn't include all the maintenance and repairs.
Yeah, because it's got to be maintained to continue working. Okay, let's take this a step further. What would it cost for some of these counties to even get sirens that would potentially cover everyone?
Yeah, so let's take Fannin County as an example, since that was the one that we talked to. The county is roughly 899 square miles. The typical siren covers about a mile, mile and a half. So in a perfect scenario to cover the entire county, you would need around 128 sirens. That would cost about $2.5 million.
Wow.
To put that into perspective, for Fannin County, that's about 10% of the county's annual budget. So sirens everywhere may not be realistic, but there are plenty of places in Texas that are densely populated, disaster prone, that don't have any sirens at all.
So one place that does have sirens right now is Dallas and Fort Worth, but then they kind of deal with a whole nother challenge when it comes to having sirens in such a large area.
Yeah, and that's our story tonight. The two largest siren systems in the state are Dallas and Fort Worth. Both have more than 150 sirens, but with these big systems, there's a lot that can go wrong. Fort Worth is actually studying right now on how to upgrade its system. Dallas just recently upgraded the security features in their system after a breach a couple years ago that woke up nearly the entire city in the middle of the night.
Which you don't want that to happen either. So
No.
there's definitely an ebb and flow to making sure these function when they need to function,
Yes.
but then also aren't prone to hackers and the such.
Yeah, having them is just part of it. You have to make sure that they work and they work when you need them to work as well.
All right, Brian New, a really important subject that a lot of folks are paying attention to. Again, you can watch his full report tonight, and the CBS Texas I-Team works for you. So if you have a tip or a question for them, you can reach them by phone or by email at iteam@ktvt.com.